Another absolutely beautiful winter day here on the farm. We've been getting so much snow recently, which has been very fun. It just makes everything kind of feel like a snow globe out there, winter wonderland. But I am starting the morning off here with stocking up on some granola. I have a jar back here that's our designated granola jar, and I like to keep this filled for easy breakfast. So homemade yogurt and some fruit and granola, and that's breakfast. I would say at least a couple days a week usually, but I'm gonna do a double batch here because we go through this so quickly. So I'm gonna do 12 cups of rolled oats, 11, 12. Okay, and then I'm gonna melt some butter and coconut oil. Now this recipe is very versatile. If you wanna do all coconut oil, you can do all coconut oil, or if you wanna do all butter. Same goes for the sweeteners. I like to do a mix of maple syrup and raw honey, but you can do that. You could even do sugar if you don't care for natural sweeteners. Very versatile, as most granola recipes are, I feel like, but this is how we like it. So I'm gonna do half a cup of butter, then I'll do a cup of coconut oil, and we'll just let that melt together. Butter and coconut oil is hot. I don't know if you can hear that crackling. We're gonna pour that in our bowl, and then I'm gonna add a cup of honey as well as a cup of maple syrup. And then from there, it's a little bit whatever I have on hand. So I like to add as many different kinds of nuts as I can. Adds a little bit of protein and some really good crunch to it as well. Today I have some pecans and some walnuts, so I'm just gonna kind of roughly chop these up by hand. I like to aim for at least 2 cups of nuts for a batch like this. I'm gonna add a sprinkle of salt, then about a tablespoon of cinnamon, as well as about a tablespoon of vanilla. All right, we'll just stir this all around. This is what we're looking like. Okay, I'll try to get this in an even layer in the pan here, but I might save some for breakfast because my kids love the granola just before it's baked. So sometimes on the day when I'm making it, they each get a bowl of it unbaked. I'll bake this at 300 for about 45 minutes then. What is it? Cute. It's cute. Aw, it's little bunny babies.
A bunny.
I'm gonna start our yogurt bowls here with some blackberry yogurt. So I just make homemade yogurt, done that on here before, I think multiple times, but then I added some freeze-dried blackberry juice. It's complicated. Blackberries were going bad, and so I juiced them and then froze the juice, and it makes a delicious flavoring for anything like this. I just throw it in the blender, it makes a powder, and then we also added a little bit of maple syrup or honey. So that's gonna be our base here for the bowls, and then we'll add the granola, the unbaked granola for this special treat, and then also some fruit. So I love adding a lot of color to my food. Eating all the colors of the rainbow is super fun, and it also means you're eating a lot of produce usually. So that's what we're gonna do here to start the day. I can just make fresh hot chocolate later. People have been asking.
Look.
I'm gonna do a little sprinkle of poppy seeds, and then we'll be ready to sit up. switched up our Bible time a little bit as a family. So normally I will set all the breakfast out. Kyra made some tea for us this morning, and then we'll do our Bible time in the morning during breakfast. We really love these still, especially for the younger kids, but the older ones in us and the little ones sit here too with their Bibles. We are going through the Bible recap, doing it via audio. So we'll find the passage of the day in my audio Bible, and then we'll listen to it and read it together quietly. And then we'll listen to the recap part via podcast. So basically everything is via audio, and we're going through the entire Bible this year as an entire family, which is really special. And then we're doing this part of our family devotions now in the evening right before bedtime. So we're ready to eat up, and you just blew out a candle? What? Do you love your tea? Tea. Genesis 32 to 33.
And the angels of God met him.
You are my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink.
The granola is baked and cooled now, and a little tip if you are new to making your own granola, if you want it to be chunky and you like big chunks in your granola, do not stir it while it is baking. So that will give you these nice clusters, and then of course if you like it just more, little grains, then stir away all you want. But if you want the chunks, let it bake and cool before you stir it. So I'm gonna stir mine, kind of break it up a little bit now, and then we'll store it in our little granola jar. William, do you wanna help Mama? Break it up a little bit. Ooh, that's a big piece. Whoop. Now I'm just gonna take this. We'll dump it in like this. Whee! But that's at least almost a full jar. Yeah, so all of these words have R in it.
Car. Star. Far.
I wake in the morning early.
I wake in the morning early.
And always the very first thing.
And always the very first thing.
I poke out my head and I sit up in bed.
I poke out my head and I sit up in bed.
And I sing and I sing and I sing.
And I sing and I sing and I sing.
On a usual day, I can easily find the food I need in and around this marsh. Looking into the water below, I see a crab scuttling away. I just got another box in from Microgreen. They are sponsoring today's video, and it's actually coming in really handy because we'll use that for our lunch here. I don't think you can beat baked from scratch in your kitchen. However, I know that's not a reality for so many people, and it takes time. And that's where I think wild grain can be a huge benefit, because you still get all those sourdough long fermented benefits. They partner with different sourdough bakers around the country to provide these beautiful boxes. You can actually customize your own box as well. And if you're gluten-free, they also have a special gluten-free box. If you are vegan, they have a special vegan box. And so they're really customizable. Today, what I want to do for lunch is actually this slow fermented olive oil ciabatta. I thought this would be really good with some cold cuts, and then put a bunch of these veggies in that we purchased. They also have croissants. These are the regular croissants, or there's chocolate croissants. Y'all know how much I love my croissants. We have some big chocolate chunk cookies. There's just the normal plain sourdough bread, amazing with soups, and then we have some plain biscuits as well as butter. I didn't actually even know they did butter. This is churned French butter, and I'm very excited to dive into that. Everything ships frozen in a box that has like dry ice in it, so you can just literally pull it out of the box, pop it straight into your freezer, and then you actually bake from frozen. So if you are out for the day, or if you are at work and coming home, or if you just hadn't thought of meal prepping in time, it is so nice that you can just pull these straight from the freezer, pop them in the oven. Actually, don't even place them on a baking sheet to bake. So I'm just gonna set mine right on the rack, and everything that you can order from them bakes in 25 minutes. So perfect for those last minute times. Wildgrain was so generous to give me a discount code for you, so you can head over to wildgrain.com/thisgoldenhour, and I will leave that for you in the description box. Use the discount code thisgoldenhour for $30 off your first box, as well as free croissants for life. So I know so many of you loved them the last time I worked with them, and so I hope that this helps you out. But let's clear all these away. I'll just pop them right back in the freezer for the next time when I need to pull something out, and we'll make our ciabatta sandwiches. Okay, we're gonna work on our toppings here while the bread finishes. So I have some lettuce. I pulled a container of microgreens. I keep not showing you how I actually grow these. Maybe I can give you a little B-roll situation of what the thing looks like. It's kind of like a mini greenhouse, and I love it, especially in the winter time when I'm not able to grow things outside. So that one is always delicious on a lot of things. I feel like it just kind of packs in those nutrients without you really even tasting them. I have some cheese, and then we'll cut up some tomatoes. Avi wants to cut up some cucumbers for us, and we'll do some cucumber slices with that. I also have a purple onion here, and I'm trying to decide if there's anything else we want to throw on. I think we'll do kind of like a Chick-fil-A sauce, if you will. I have some on hand right now from Primal Kitchen. They have pretty good ingredients, I would say, and so we'll just do it easy with that. But I also love making it just with homemade mayo, and then I do from our canned ketchup, some mustard, some relish, and that honestly tastes pretty much the same. So good. I don't know if you could hear the crunch when I was cutting it, but definitely excited to give it a try. Lunch is sounding good, right, Avi? Yeah. All right, I pulled some chipped ham. I can't remember if I told you that. Actually, let's first put on some lettuce in the bottom. And then I pulled some chipped ham and some beef bologna, cheese, tomatoes, and some purple onion. All right, that is looking pretty tasty for lunch. We'll add some cucumbers and strawberries yet to the plate. back from getting a bunch of groceries, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little grocery haul. It's been a while since I did one of those. I like to focus very, very heavily on fresh produce this time of the year. So good for immune health and just really health in general. So that's practically what we got today is produce, and then of course I had to pick up a little bit of flowers. We do have things like meat that we just do in bulk when we butcher animals from on the farm here, and then of course a lot of dairy. We either make our own, we get our own milk from the tanks and stuff. So often just like week to week, produce is largely what I'm looking at. So let me just give you a quick run through here. Now I do try to look for as many things like organic, all those things as I can, but obviously price plays into that as well. So I always just say do the best that you can, and then just making sure that we wash things thoroughly before we eat them. Okay, why don't we start over on this end? I got a bunch of dill here. I love adding that to almost anything, on salads, in soups, and actually a bag that didn't make it to the table is this big bag of spinach. And then I got 3 heads of cabbage this time because I want to make a bunch of sauerkraut. Again, love all those fermented foods. So good for your gut as well. And then back here we have just a couple of mangoes. I have a couple different kinds of lettuce. We have the green curly lettuce and then with the red tips. I got 1 pineapple, 1 pack of grapes, and then these are just some peeled garlic cloves. We have some tomatoes back here, some kiwi, and then a papaya. I'm so excited to eat that. I don't often get those. These are some red beets. Excited for those as well. And then we have a cantaloupe, a bunch of apples. These seemed nice and fresh and crunchy, and then some citrus as well. I have a couple of blood oranges and then just some navel oranges. Broccoli, love making broccoli soup, or even like I put this in a stir fry. And then of course, a moment for the flowers. These are like a kind of a muted pinkish color, and then these of course a little bit brighter. I thought that would be fun to have in the kitchen here over these darker winter days. We got some strawberries the kids were asking for, and then I have 2 kinds of cucumbers here. These are so great for snacking on, for charcuterie boards, for in salads. I don't know, we love them in so many things. We got purple onions and then also the sweet onions, a bunch of kale here, and then some sweet potatoes or yams, and then some Bartlett pears back here, some more lettuce, and then a big thing of celery. So this is what all of that looks like. So will we eat this all in a week? That's the question. We may or we may not. It depends so much on how much I put in with snacks. One of my favorite things actually for the spinach is to wilt it. You get a lot more nutrients out of spinach if you first wilt it just barely. You don't need to like overcook it, and then add it to smoothies. But you know, when you wilt anything like that down, it just majorly like compacts it. So there's definitely some tricks like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention my chives. I also have a little bunch of chives here. Love those, and literally anything savory. But if I have this and I start seeing things are starting to kind of turn, I will quickly juice them, or freeze dry them. And so I try to make as little as possible go to waste. Usually we do pretty well with that. We're able to use them up in one of those 3 ways. If they start turning, it also depends how much we're hosting. But anyways, all that to say, that is my little produce haul essentially this week. Something that I feel like so easily gets overlooked for a longer period of time, at least at my house, is washing sheets and even towels. Sometimes I'm like, I need to put reminders in my phone to just have them on a schedule. So anyway, today I want to wash at least some of the sheets. I did Josh and mine this morning, and I want to do the boys' sheets yet. The girls' sheets I'll probably end up doing a different day, but getting those nice and fresh. I'd actually hoped to do this morning, get it started, and then hang them out to dry. I don't know how much they would dry when it's this cold. They likely would just freeze, but I still feel like getting some sun on them just helps kind of brighten them and air them out a little, but I think it's too late for that now. So we'll just throw them in the dryer for this time. By the way, I am so curious if any of you are seamstresses or have experience sewing. How did you get started and what would you recommend for someone to start? I have just had this ridiculous itch to sew things, and my mom and my sisters would just laugh at me because I am such an impatient person when it comes to any sort of project like that. I have thrown a dress away before just because hemming it went awfully wrong. So I don't have any credit to my name in the sewing department, but it's something I would so enjoy doing. Not necessarily to start sewing all our clothes, but I feel like it's so special to have, I still have a little yellow baby dress that I wore that my mom sewed for me, and things like that I feel like are just so special. So aprons and some little summer dresses, maybe some shorts for the boys, like linen shorts. I don't know, is that too complicated? Pillowcases, aprons, just things like that, just to make that special little touch. I don't know, I'm just all about that these days. So if you have experience or any advice, or if you're just nah, if you're impatient, then forget about it. Let me know too, but I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Well, the light is quickly fading out here. It is another cold winter night. I feel like we've had more storms this year, and it just gives me such a whole new appreciation for Josh and all the work that farmers put into their work. And when we have these winter storms and stuff, a lot of people are getting off work, staying home and cozying up with their families, which is amazing and beautiful. And while there are so many perks and things that I love about farming, you can just imagine the amount of extra work they have to do to keep all these animals alive when it gets so blustery and snowy and everything. So my goodness, I married up. He just takes such incredible care of his animals and of his family, and for that I am so grateful. But I thought it would be fun to come out here to the little maternity ward. It's snowing right into my eyes. We haven't been out here for a hot minute, and we have some new baby calves, so let's check on them quick. These are the little calves. They are so cute. Are you girls hungry? I wish I had milk for you. The kids will be out with it soon. They are so cute. So these calves get bottle fed right now. They stay with their mom for a couple days, and then we move them into this pen to bottle feed them. And then over here, these are all the mama cows that are about to have a calf. Well, this one, she's actually due any time now, so she has her own private little birthing pen there. And then the rest of these are just within the next month or two. So once they get really close, they get their own pen, but for now they can just enjoy some time together. And they are enjoying dinner. I don't know if you can see way back there are the fruit trees. That's on my list any day now. I could start pruning the fruit trees. I don't know if you can hear the calves. They're begging for supper. The kids love that part. It is fast getting dark, so I don't know if I can show you clips today, but they should be out here anytime, and they love to feed those calves. Hey, Skipper, are you staying warm?
And now I trust your gentle hand, even when I can't understand. I know your voice. I'm not afraid. Walking with me at the same pace.
One little thought here before we go is if you are feeling the January blues, I know I often feel kind of winter blues, just everything feels unexciting, unmotivating, and you can just feel kind of down. Something that I think is so encouraging to think about is of January as the training grounds. You're building the foundation for an amazing rest of the year. So all these things, that habits you are building now, books you're reading now, projects that you're thinking through and designing now, garden seeds that you're ordering now, all those things are not a waste of time or just filling space. That's all laying the foundations for wonderful things to come, and thinking of things that way, teaching our kids to read and teaching them school, all those things, so many things that can feel kind of mundane or just kind of old, especially this time of the year. To think of it as actually the start of something great can be really encouraging, and I hope that that encourages you as well. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.